I raised a child for 4 years, only to find out my wife had him with my best friend. What I did next left them begging for mercy. My name is James. And this is the story of how my entire life fell apart in a single moment. I used to believe in love, in loyalty, in the idea that family was everything. I built my life around Rachel, the woman I thought was my soulmate. We were married for 7 years. 7 years of trust, of dreams, of building a future together. And for 4 of those years, we raised our son Noah. Or at least, I thought he was my son. My life was perfect. Or so I believed. But nothing prepares you for the kind of betrayal that shatters everything you ever knew. It all started with small things. Rachel had become distant, secretive, always guarding her phone like it held the world's darkest secrets. At first I ignored it. I told myself marriage has phases, stress can make people act differently. But the signs kept piling up, the late-night messages, the hushed phone calls, the way she avoided looking me in the eyes when we spoke. Something was off. I could feel it. But I had no idea just how deep the deception ran. Then came the day that changed everything forever. I had taken Noah for a routine checkup. Nothing serious, just a standard visit to the doctor. But the doctor mentioned something about Noah's blood type. Something that didn't make sense at first. I brushed it off, but later that night as I sat alone in my study, staring at old medical records, a gnawing feeling took root in my mind. And then it hit me. Noah's blood type was impossible for me to have if I was truly his father. My heart started pounding. My mind was racing. I felt the walls closing in around me. I needed answers. But I knew Rachel would lie. I needed undeniable proof. So I did the only thing I could. I ordered a secret DNA test. The days leading up to the results were torture. Every time I looked at Noah, I felt a mix of love and dread. I loved that boy with every fiber of my being. But what if he wasn't really mine? What if everything had been a lie? When the results arrived, my world came crashing down. Noah was not my son. I sat there staring at the DNA results, my hands trembling, my heart pounding in my chest. I read the words over and over, hoping somehow they would change. But they didn't. The truth was staring me in the face. Noah was not my son. And that meant Rachel had been lying to me for years. But with who? My mind raced through the possibilities. But one name made my stomach turn. My best friend Daniel. We had been inseparable since college. We had betrayal senti. Rollercoaster tricios. Tugoy. He was the best man at my wedding, the uncle figure to Noah, always around, always involved in our lives, and suddenly all those little moments that had seemed normal now felt sinister, the way Rachel and Daniel exchanged glances. The inside jokes, the way he was always there. I felt sick. I wanted to scream, to break something, but I took a deep breath. I needed to be smart. I couldn't just accuse them without proof. I had to catch them red-handed. So I did the hardest thing imaginable. I stayed quiet. I acted normal. I smiled at Rachel, kissed Noah, good night. Went to work like nothing had changed, but behind the scenes, I was preparing for war. I set up hidden cameras in the house, placed them where Rachel wouldn't notice. I went through phone records, found long late-night calls between her and Daniel. Messages that had been deleted but still recoverable. And what I found made my blood boil. Messages filled with, "I miss you. I can't wait to see you again. I wish I could be with you." Instead of him. I had seen enough. It was time for the confrontation. That night, I waited until Rachel was asleep. Then I took her phone and sent Daniel a message, pretending to be her. "James is out for the night, come over." I hid in the shadows, my heart racing as I heard the knock on the door. Rachel, still groggy from sleep, answered it, and there stood Daniel, looking around nervously before stepping inside. I stepped forward, flipping on the lights, my voice calm but deadly funny. "I don't remember leaving the house." Rachel's face went pale. Daniel stammered, "James, I can explain, but but I wasn't interested in explanations. I pulled out the DNA results and threw them on the table. Explain this first. Rachel's lip trembled, tears welling in her eyes. James, please. I was going to tell you. I was scared. I laughed, a hollow, bitter laugh. Scared you weren't scared when you were sneaking around behind my back for years, when you had a child with my best friend, and let me raise him as my own. Daniel stepped forward, hands raised. Look, man, I never meant for this to happen. My fists clenched, but I didn't lash out. No, that would be too easy instead. I smirked. Oh, don't worry, I have something special planned for both of you. Rachel and Daniel exchanged nervous glances as I pulled out my phone and pressed play, the hidden camera footage showing Daniel sneaking into our house. The messages, the late-night calls. Everything played out in front of them. Rachel collapsed onto the couch, sobbing. Daniel looked like he wanted to disappear. James, please, we can fix this. Rachel begged. I love you, we can work through this. I shook my head. No. Rachel, you ruined this. You threw away our marriage for him, and now you're going to pay for it. The next day, I made sure everyone knew the truth. I exposed everything to their families, to their friends. I posted the screenshots, the footage, even the DNA results. Rachel lost everything. Her reputation, her family's respect. Even Noah's school found out. And the other parents wouldn't let their kids near her. As for Daniel, his girlfriend left him his job, fired him for moral reasons, and he was forced to move to another city in disgrace. Rachel came begging weeks later, standing outside my door in the rain, tears streaming down her face. James, please, I made a mistake. I love you. Please don't throw everything away. I looked at her for a long moment, before saying the words that sealed her fate. You threw it away the moment you betrayed me now. Live with it. And with that, I shut the door in her face, leaving her sobbing in the rain while I walked away towards a future free of lies and betrayal. And that was how I turned my pain into power. I refused to be a victim. Refused to let betrayal break me. Instead, I exposed them, humiliated them, and walked away without looking back. Sometimes, revenge isn't about getting even. It's about showing them that you never needed them in the first place. What would you have done in my place? Would you have exposed them? Or walked away? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more insane stories like this.